You had mentioned in between, Jim, that one of the emerging sectors is the digital economy, and Indonesia seems to have carved a place for itself. But the digital economy is not just about digital companies; it's about existing companies that are also transforming digitally, right? So, do you see any particular area that you feel Indonesia could contribute to the rest of the world, and not just to focus on how the domestic digital economy develops? Do you see any areas that you feel?
Well, I'm not an expert in this area by any means, but the interesting thing about digital economy is it has no home in the sense that it's not culturally based, so it can be developed anywhere. An Indonesian program that works is the same as a Silicon Valley program that works. Now, in these areas, a lot of the scaling has already been done, particularly in the U.S. with your Amazons and all these companies. But we see, I think, some of the companies like Gojek leading the way here and similar services, but they're first in the market here. And we'll just have to see who the survivors are, who consolidates with who. We've seen consolidation in the Asian market with some of the Indonesian companies, with some of the Singapore companies. I just think it's a wide open field that knows no home. It just is for bright young people, if it were to come up with the next best idea, and it can be solved anywhere. So I don't see it as particularly grounded. But the thing about Indonesia, if you get the right services, the country's big enough, you can get scale where you don't have to be intimidated by the global players. So Indonesia can build up scale more quickly than a smaller country might be able to do. So that might be a little bit of an edge, but I don't really see that as having a flag. I really think that's just Indonesia provides a good environment for it. It's not overly regulated. And so I think Indonesia will continue to play a very big role.
So do you see the opportunity for digital to play a big role in the regional areas? Let's say the so many provinces that are there. And typically most of rest of Indonesia has been, resource-based, natural resources, agriculture, etc. Do you see a play there which should be probably explored?
Oh, absolutely. I know you're involved in another venture in education, and I haven't spent much time on education but it is one of Indonesia's Achilles heels. Elementary school education here is not up to regional standard generally. And so something like Orbit Guru that helps improve the quality of teaching around the region can bring national and international standards to the smallest areas of Indonesia. And this is really, the same can be done in healthcare. You don't have to visit the doctor personally. If we can do these things online, there's just tremendous opportunity. And as we've seen, it doesn't have to overcome existing infrastructure. So there's a lot of opportunity. And yes, indeed, it's a good point. It's a good question that you asked, because this can really help the outer islands, if we still use that term here, but that have been hampered by lack of logistics, poor communication. Connectivity is the key, and this can really bring ideas and goods and services throughout the country in an unprecedented fashion. So there's still a very big upside there.